to teach you today is how to use the 5 steps. How many people have their 5 steps in front of them? Okay, how many people have used the 5 steps? And I want you to be very, wow. This is what blows my mind, because I sit in this small town of 9,000 people in Bellevue, Ohio, and I get a message on Facebook of someone that's used it. I just got a message from a mom the other day that said, you know what, before your 5 steps, I wasn't making a dime in this, and I didn't even know where to start. And all of a sudden now, thank you, because all I have is 5 to 10 hours a week. And I'm able to do this. And guys, that's the answer that we need. There's some things that were evident in our network. When I went around and started studying people and talking to people, is this. We do way too much vomiting of product. We play what we call product whack-a-mole because we get so excited about the products, right? They work. They work. If they didn't work, I wouldn't be in my silver underwear on your join button. They work. Right? And how refreshing is it to find something that actually works? And what we don't realize is this, because the products are so great and because the company keeps coming out with new great products that honestly can take our eye off the ball of what we need to do. Our job isn't every single product. Our job is people. True? Okay? And so you can get really caught up with every time a product comes out. You know, it's like that. You don't know what to do. You're like, oh, what do I focus on? Oh, I'm doing X2 this week. I'm doing pump this week. Now body pieces coming out. Oh my gosh. And you can get caught up in playing this rat race with stuff, or you can get focused on the 20% of what matters, and what matters is people. Yeah. Right, Heather Dixon? 5-star diamond, right? True? Okay. Everybody's with me. I see some heads bobbing. Okay? But that's a message we need to get, because by far, when I'm talking to coaches, new coaches, struggling coaches, frustrated coaches, when I ask them about what they're talking about with people, they lead by vomiting product. Somebody says, well, what's the Shakeology? And they go, oh my God, let me tell you about it. Instead of slowing down and going into step 2, which we're going to teach you, which is slow down and ask some questions. Oh, well, why are you asking about that? Right? There's a good question to ask. That's step 2, right? So here's what I want to show you is this. The 5 steps is going to teach you how to walk people through a process so that you're serving their lives rather than talking about yourself and your products. Okay? Rather than talking about yourself and your products, you need to focus on people. And it gives you one clear, here's the thing, 5 steps gives you one clear method to do that with. Whether it's by copy, pasting, and personalizing the steps through Facebook, whether it's talking to them on the phone, whether it's your new coach and you're actually taking them through 5 steps as a coach. Okay? It's how do we take people whose natural inclination is to go out there and vomit all over everybody, their enthusiasm, which does nothing but, if you got puked on in public, would you run away? I mean, you'd be kind of pissed, right? Okay? And seriously, that's what we do. And it's like, I sit here and I go, just stop the madness. Stop it, because that's not what attracts people. What attracts people is when you serve their life, when you fulfill their need. Start giving, right? Zig Ziglar said that. Give people what they want and you get what you want. And what is it that you want? You want them to join your business, get results, feel good about themselves, and also to make an income by doing that. So start giving them what they want. So let's talk about the 5 steps and how it fits. Okay, the first step in the 5 steps is to invite. Now, in order to invite people, we have to have what? A list. Simple. Clear. You can't do anything without a list. Period. And if you keep a list, it gives you an activity to do that's clear and concise. I got to have a list, and I got to get people on the list and off the list. And I do that by inviting them. Right? I do that by inviting them. The second part is something I learned called form. I learned it from Danny Johnson, who's an outside trainer that we've been to, that some of the people in this room have went to. She's helped me tremendously, just kind of get a grasp on everything in my life. Great. But asking questions, engage with questions, okay? And that is something that we miss out. We miss out on it at home. That's why we get frustrated with our spouse and our kids, because we don't slow down and ask questions. We make it about us and not about them, which is why they get pissed at us, right? It's the same. We get frustrated with our coaches because we don't slow down and ask them questions about their life. So step 2 is asking questions, slowing down and asking questions. Okay? Step 3 is lead them to information. Lead them to something where they can just spend a moment and evaluate it and give them what they need. Okay? In the 5 steps, because we're leading them to the challenge, we're showing them the challenge video. Okay? It could also be a conversation with a leader on a 3-way call. Everybody understand that? If you're trying to go to step 3 with your husband, it could be, you know, the website that has Bora Bora. Because you want him to see where you could possibly go, right? But lead them to information. Lead them, not all of it. Not all of it. Lead to tool. Exposure tool, sharing tool, whatever you want to call it. You got to lead them to a tool, right? And the 5 steps that you have that recruits people to the challenge groups, it's the Carl Deichler video. Everybody understand that? Okay. Step 4 is details and close. This is your agreement. Okay? This is your agreement. And when you close, you give them 2 clear options. And you're going to see, and we're going to go through this. We're going to go through this. I'm just giving you the steps, and then we're going to go through it and break it down, and we're going to give you what matters so that you learn how to use it. Okay? But 2 clear options when you close. The problem that most people have, the issue that most new people have that haven't developed a skill set with people, is that they go to step 4 in step 1. Right? They start giving all the details, and they try to close people before the people have even had a chance to make it about themselves. You're doing step 2 for 2 reasons. 1 is for you, so you can capture the why, and 2 is for them, so they spend some time reflecting on what it is they need in their life. Right? Okay, and then step 5 is enroll. All right, those are the 5 steps. Enroll, and we're going to show you how to do that. Now listen, we revamped the 5-step process. So what you've heard, we just rolled it out yesterday, right, to the leadership on Blake's wall, with a focus on closing for PACs and recruiting and coaches. But let's talk about where it's more than this. Here's the 3 areas where you truly need to understand the 5 steps to make it set on fire, right? The first thing is, or actually 4 areas. 1 is consistent use. Consistent use. Consistent use. Too many people go out there and they perform for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, even 6 months, and then they have a letdown and they disappear on themselves. They disappear on their dreams, they disappear on their why, they get burned out with something, they disappear, right? And so they never get past that 125 mark because they haven't performed consistently, and they haven't taught other people to perform consistently. So using the 5 steps consistently, that is a key in everything that you do. Okay? In everything that you do. The second thing is personalizing it. We talked about personalizing it, right? I want you to understand something. There's 2 things that personalizing it does not mean. The first thing it does not mean is simply keeping the whole thing and switching out the name. That is not personalized. That's replacing a name in a script. Right? It also does not mean that you go in and you change every single word. Okay? Personalizing. I want to really talk to you about personalizing the 5 steps. Okay? You need to personalize it to the person, the timing, the existing relationship. Okay? So, for instance, the way that you're going to send this to someone like your mother is totally different than the way that you would send it to someone that you just met this morning at the grocery store and that you've built an on-the-surface relationship with, correct? So if I send it to the guy I just met this morning, it might be, you know, hey Joe, dude, it was great to meet you this morning and to hear about your son. I hope the Little League season goes well. Whatever that conversation, the relationship was. You know, and I couldn't help but hear you talking about wanting to lose some weight. Which got me thinking, I'm doing this Beachbody Challenge group, and then you're right into step 2, or step 1, right? Everybody understand that? Yeah. How would I send it to my mother? You want me? No, you know what I would do with my mom, because I'm a soft heart, that's who I am, right? I'd say, Mom, you know what, I just got married, and it really got me thinking about how important you are in all of our lives, and that we're going to need you around longer than the 60 years you've already lived. And I know that you've got some high cholesterol issues, which really got me thinking about this Beachbody Challenge group that I'm starting. Everybody understand that? See, the lead-in is totally different. Personalizing it to the person, the timing, the relationship, when you get really good, and I don't even want to go into this, personality types. Okay, how many people of you, sometimes you get a message from someone and it's like filled with smileys and exclamations? When you personalize it to them, just throw in a bunch of smileys. They'll love it. It's the truth. Okay? It's the truth, man. And I'm going to tell you, like Craig is big on Forrest Littauer's Personality Plus, right? I've learned a lot of personality typing through Danny Johnson, through her book, First Steps to Wealth. You know, but that's a place where you can invest some time and start learning about people a little bit. What you have to understand is that the 5 steps have already taken into account the desire. I am not a 5 steps person. I am fly by the seat of my pants. Jimmy and I are going to go rock this thing out. Right? I'll go recruit the tree. I don't care. But that doesn't duplicate. That does not duplicate. In fact, that downright just scares the hell out of some people. Okay? So, if you really you start learning about people, you can personalize it even more. See, here's the problem with people that are wanting to change it, is they want to change it to their voice, not to the voice of the person they're prospecting. This doesn't sound like me, so I'm going to change it to sound like me because sounding like me makes me comfortable. Does everybody understand that? That is a pitfall that some people can fall into. I'm telling you. I do it all the time. I want to put smileys and exclamations everywhere. But if I'm talking to someone who isn't that, and I do that, it turns them off. Does that make sense? Okay? So personalize it to them, not to you, to them. And you personalize the front end, not the middle, not the core. The core stays. Everybody, and listen, y'all can do what you want. Y'all can do what you want. I'm just telling you where my thinking came from and what has worked for my team and the thinking that's been instilled in my team, which is why I've got coaches that are 4 months in and have 1,500 volume every week. How many people would like that to happen? Right? That's the truth. I've got coaches that learned this 5 months ago and have been success 10 every month for 5 months. From month 1. How many people would like that for your new people? Right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I can go out there and I can score as many points. I can go out there and score points until I'm blinded by points in my sleep. Right? But if it doesn't duplicate and it can't help the next person do it, then and if what you do can't be described as a system, then you don't know what the hell you're doing. And that's something I had to learn because I did it the other way for a long time. Okay, so personalizing it. And you personalize it all the way through, the front and the end. I'll give you another example. The ending question, like one of the questions in there says, does that sound fair? And I was talking to a 19-year-old kid, and how many 19-year-old kids do you know that are like, does that sound fair? Yes, sir, that sounds fair. No, they're like, so I'm like, dude, is that cool? You ready to rock? Talk his language, right? What do 19-year-olds talk like? So you personalize it to him. Everybody follow that? Okay. The second area is step 2. And here's the thing, guys. When you're out in public, step 2 is actually step 1. Mm-hmm. When you're out in public, when you're on the phone with someone, when you're with your family, step 2 is step 1 because you got to lead with the questions to start building relationships. Here's what is known to me from studying people is this. We suck at people. It's the truth, including me, until I learned this skill, the art of asking questions and engaging in them and helping them go down a journey that takes them from the skin of the onion down to deeper layers, right? How many people have sent out a step 1 and they come back and they send them step 2 and the person comes back and says, I'd like to lose 15 pounds, right? And you're like, great, let's go to step 3. No. Here's the thing I want to teach you. I want you to write this down. Stay on step 2. Live in step 2. Step 2 is where you build relationships. Step 2 is where you build trust. Step 2 is where you get and capture their emotional reason why at a deeper level. Step 2 is something you need to practice every day in your life with every single person that you come across, including your spouse, including your kids, including the people on your team, including your neighbor, including the people on your Facebook. Step 2 is something you can do in a chat. It's something that you can do face-to-face. It's something that you can do on the phone. Is just shut up, ask questions, and listen. I have one rule on my team.